Lord, please make this children walk and wipe away our tears.
He installed CCTV cameras in his paralyzed triplets' room, hoping to catch the black maid stealing from him. But he was surprised to see her praying for his paralyzed triplets, and they began walking. Billionaire businessman Adrian Harrison stood in his private security room late at night, his sharp eyes fixed on the glowing monitors. Rain poured heavily outside the massive windows of Harrison Estate while thunder echoed through the dark halls. For weeks, strange things had gone missing inside the mansion. Expensive watches, small stacks of cash, jewelry boxes moved from their places. Adrian hated disorder more than anything, and suspicion had slowly settled on the newest employee in the house, the black maid, Maya Johnson. She was quiet, soft-spoken, and kept mostly to herself. To Adrian, that made her suspicious. People only stay silent when they're hiding something, he once told his butler. So he installed cameras in almost every corner of the mansion, except the bathrooms and guest rooms. Hidden cameras in the hallways, cameras in the living room, cameras in the children's playroom, even one outside the triplets' bedroom. Tonight, Adrian finally planned to catch her. He adjusted his suit sleeves and pressed play on the recorded footage from earlier that afternoon. The screen showed Maya entering the children's room carrying folded laundry. Adrian narrowed his eyes immediately. The room belonged to his 7-year-old triplets, Ethan Harrison, Emma Harrison, and Eli Harrison. The children had been paralyzed since birth. Doctors around the world had failed to help them. Adrian had spent millions on treatments, surgeries, specialists, and therapy centers. Nothing worked. The triplets remained trapped in their wheelchairs, their fragile smiles slowly fading with each passing year. On the screen, Maya gently tucked the children into bed before kneeling on the carpet. Adrian frowned. She clasped her hands together and bowed her head. At first, he scoffed. "She's praying during work hours?" He muttered. But then he noticed something strange. Tears rolled down Maya's face as she prayed softly. "Lord," she whispered, "please heal these children. Their father has forgotten how to hope, but you have not." Adrian's expression hardened. Then suddenly, Ethan's fingers twitched. Adrian sat upright. On the screen, Emma slowly pushed herself upward on the bed while Eli grabbed the edge of his wheelchair with trembling hands. Maya lifted her head in shock, and before Adrian could even breathe, the triplets stood up, one by one, walking. Adrian Harrison froze in his chair. The security monitor flickered softly in the dark room, but his eyes never moved from the screen. His heartbeat thundered in his ears as the impossible unfolded before him. The triplets were walking. Not crawling, not stumbling, walking. Little Emma Harrison took the first shaky step across the carpet, her tiny hands stretched out in fear. Beside her, Ethan Harrison clung tightly to the side of the bed while Eli Harrison burst into frightened tears. Maya stared at them as if she could not believe her own eyes. "Oh my God," she whispered. Adrian shot up from his chair so quickly it nearly toppled backward. For several seconds, he simply stood there in shock, staring at the screen like a man losing his mind. "No," he muttered. "This can't be real." His hands trembled as he rewound the footage. Again and again, every replay showed the same thing. Maya praying, the children rising, walking. Adrian rushed out of the security room and sprinted down the long marble hallway of the mansion. Servants jumped aside in alarm as the billionaire ran past them without a word. He had not run like this in years. When he reached the children's bedroom, the door was slightly open. Inside, Maya stood frozen beside the bed, tears streaming down her face. The triplets were standing in the middle of the room. Actually standing. Emma laughed nervously while Ethan stared at his own legs in disbelief. Eli clutched his brother's arm tightly, afraid he might fall if he let go. Adrian stopped at the doorway. For the first time in years, he could not speak. The children turned toward him. "Daddy," Emma whispered. Then she walked toward him. One small step, then another. Adrian's entire body shook. Doctors from the best hospitals in the world had called his children hopeless cases. He remembered every diagnosis, every failed surgery, every sleepless night spent beside hospital beds praying for answers he never received. Yet here they were, walking toward him. His knees nearly gave out. Emma wrapped her tiny arms around his waist, and Adrian broke completely. Tears poured down his face as he held her tightly against his chest. Behind her, Ethan and Eli slowly walked toward their father too. Maya quietly stepped back toward the corner of the room. Adrian looked up at her through tear-filled eyes. This was the woman he accused in his heart, the woman he secretly watched with cameras, the woman he believed was stealing from him. But instead of stealing, she had been praying for his children when he had already lost hope. For the first time in many years, Adrian Harrison felt ashamed of himself. The next morning, news of the miracle spread through Harrison Estate like wildfire. Servants whispered in the hallways. Guards stared in disbelief. The family doctor, Neely, fainted after watching the triplets walk across the living room without assistance. Adrian Harrison stood silently near the fireplace while specialists examined the children again and again. Every result was the same. There was no medical explanation. Their muscles worked perfectly. Their nerves responded normally. It was as though the paralysis had never existed. "This is impossible," one doctor said quietly. Adrian looked across the room toward Maya Johnson, who stood near the doorway holding a tray of juice for the children. She lowered her eyes when she noticed him staring. The guilt inside him grew heavier. After the doctors finally left, Adrian asked Maya to meet him in his study. She entered nervously a few minutes later, her hands clasped tightly together. "You wanted to see me, sir?" Adrian looked at the hidden security monitor mounted on the wall. For the first time, he hated the sight of it. "I owe you an apology," he said quietly. Maya looked surprised. Adrian took a deep breath. "I installed cameras because I thought you were stealing from me." Her face fell slightly, though she did not seem shocked. "I know," she answered softly. That stunned him. "You knew?" She nodded. "People usually expect the worst from someone like me." The words hit him harder than he expected. For years, Adrian prided himself on being logical and intelligent. But the truth was ugly. He judged her because she was poor, because she was black, because he believed someone like her could never truly care about his family. Yet she had prayed for his children while he buried himself in anger and control. "I was wrong," Adrian admitted. "Completely wrong." Maya stayed silent. Adrian walked to the desk and opened a drawer before pulling out an envelope. Inside was a check large enough to change someone's life forever. "I want you to accept this," he said. Maya looked at the amount and immediately shook her head. "I didn't pray for money." "I know," Adrian replied. "That's why you deserve it." Tears filled Maya's eyes. At that moment, laughter echoed through the hallway outside the study. The triplets, running. Adrian turned toward the sound, emotion tightening in his chest. Only yesterday, he believed his children would never walk. Now their laughter filled the mansion with life again. Maya smiled softly. God answered. Adrian looked at her for a long moment before speaking quietly. "No," he said. "He sent you." Outside the study, the triplets ran through the grand halls of the mansion while sunlight poured through the tall windows for the very first time in years, the house no longer feeling cold or empty. And from that day forward, the cameras Adrian installed to expose a thief became the reminder of the night of prayer created a miracle.